Hey, everybody. It's your boy, Sean McLaughlin at Options Sean on Twitter. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great day. Today is Thursday, October 24, 2024. I like that. October 24, 2024. Yeah, whatever. This is the All-Star Options Jam session. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a wild week. I've been out in Coronado all week, but I'm back in the office today briefly, heading back out on the road tomorrow for a little fun, a little work, a little of everything. But hey, this is the All-Star Options Jam session. So what we do here is we review any action amongst the trades that we have in All-Star Options. We review trades that we may have exited, any trades that we have made adjustments to. We touch upon new trades that we've put on since we last spoke, and we update some stops for positions that are working or maybe need a tighter leash. There's a variety of reasons why we may adjust our stops. So we review all that here in the Options Jam session. So let's do that. But before I hit that, of course, I have to drop the old disclaimer that everything we discuss here is for educational purposes only. I'm hoping that you learn something from watching me go through my process. And if we all become better traders through that, then great, then we're all winning. All right, so let's bring up a chart of the S&P 500 here. We had a little bit of an intraday dip yesterday. I mean, this candle looks a lot less ominous now than it did at one point intraday when we were at the lows. And in fact, many of you in our chat room were getting a little nervous. I saw it, I felt it, but I said to everybody, look, zoom out. Look at this long-term trend for the year in the S&P 500. Does this look bearish to you? It doesn't look bearish to me. Might that have been the top 5, 6 days ago? We'll only know in hindsight, right? We don't know, but it doesn't feel like a top to me right now. I feel like we've got too much headline risk coming up for any major pivot in the market to happen right now. I feel like we need to get the election out of the way. We need to get earnings season over with. And then the market can decide what it's going to do. Is it going to rip into the close, which is a pretty common occurrence following elections? Maybe. Are we going to sell off because we get an unexpected result, either from the election or from earnings season or from the war front? Who knows, right? We don't know, but I feel like there's a lot of things, a lot of competing forces weighing against the market that it's just kind of weighing it down and really going to add up to a whole lot of just sloppy sideways action right now, if anything. So I don't put a whole lot of credence in this, 5-day slide in the S&P 500. It's not sending any alarm bells to me yet. All right. We'll take a quick look at VIX. Let me pull up the VIX chart here. VIX, kind of stubbornly still hanging around that 20 level. It felt like to me about 2 weeks ago, I felt like that might have been it, and we were just going to kind of slide back into the mid-teens. But VIX is still hanging stubbornly around 20, which again is all for all the reasons that we had just mentioned before. So, all right, that's kind of the high level what I'm thinking at. Let's look at positions that we've closed since we last spoke in no particular order. Let's look at UNG, the Widowmaker, natural gas. Well, once again, cost me some money. I think a lot of traders who've been in this game a long time can have similar stories about losing money in natural gas. It's just one of those tricky commodities. Who knows? But we were long a December 15-20 bull call spread that we paid $1.05 for back in early September, coming right after Labor Day. And it was looking good for us for a little while. It was looking like it wanted to do what it needed to do, but boy, it just got rejected at that 200-day moving average, which it has numerous times this year. This time, turns out, was no different. While we did not break below my stop loss level, I was making the bet that this 1250 level would hold, and it still is holding. However, we're running out of time. These are December options. We only have, I don't know, 45 days of expiration, if I'm doing my math right. I might not be doing my math right, but that sounds about right. And the value of the spread lost 50%. So I paid 105 for it and I closed it for 50 cents. So I lost just a little bit more than 50% of the premium I invested in this trade. And that was part of the plan going in, right? I told you guys when I put the trade on that if it broke below 1250, absolutely, The trade is dead. I'm out. I will close it. But secondarily, if we lost 50% of the premium in the trade, that would also be my signal to get out. And that's what we're doing here. We're just running out of time. This low may still hold. This may be the ultimate bottom. I don't know, but it's not doing it on the time frame we needed to. It was looking like it was doing it. Man, we had a great start to this trade, but the market had other ideas. So we are out of UNG. Next up, NVIDIA. We had an iron condor on in NVIDIA, and we were making a bet that it was not going to go back and make new all-time highs, and it was going to stay above 100 at least for 4 to 5 weeks from the time we got in. We got in on October 2nd, but as you could see, NVIDIA decided to just start moving more or less straight up since the time we got in. We had a closing price above 140, which was my trigger, right? Any close above 140 was my signal to get out. And maybe we're getting whipsawed here. Maybe this thing is going to come back. Maybe that's a false breakout. I don't know. But risk management is job number one. I collected 220 when I got in on day one. I had to close it for 475 debit on the way out. So not a total loss, right? I could have spent as much as $10 to close this spread. That's the most it could have been worth. So all things considered, not a terrible loss there in NVIDIA, but we are now out of NVIDIA. Lastly, Sherwin-Williams, man, I really had high hopes for this trade. It felt like, a little roller coaster initially, but it was looking really good up until end of September. And then we had this little sell-off that got me nervous, and then we ripped back up. I mean, just the volatility came in at the wrong time. And then boom, this big red candle was the death knell for us. 354 was our raised trailing stop in this name. Sorry, 364. We got to close below it. So we got out that day. We got out for 225. Not terrible, right? We paid 575 to get in. Got out for 225. So boy, all I have is bad news for you today as far as the closed trades, right? All of them are losing trades. None of them are big losers, which is pretty common around here. Most of our losers are not big losers. In fact, 99% of our losers are not big losers because we define our risks and we have clear exits. All right. But hey, that just means we have other positions that are working, which is good. Now let's talk about some updated stops. We only have one updated stop, guys. Surprisingly, it's been like I said, the market's just kind of resting here. It seems like the market's waiting for its cue. But we did raise one stop, this coupon, ticker CPNJ. We've been in this trade since mid to late August. We're long the February 25 calls we paid $2 for. The trade's working. It's going our way. Man, I thought yesterday we might get a breakout, but it reversed on us. But we're still hanging in this little area here. I don't know if you want to call that a flag that's forming, but either way, we don't want to see it get below. I mean, even below like 24.67 might not be great, but certainly 24. All right, we'll zoom in here a little for you, Gene. 24, which is where the rising 50-period moving average is. So any close below 24 gets me out of coupon. And that's the only updated stop we have this week. Nothing else really is clearly declared an obvious new level to raise our stops to. All right. Finally, we will talk about, God, I got to open up another column here for some reason. Let's see this. We'll talk about our new trades here. Now for new trades, guys, I don't put the details on here. If you want the details for the trade, you have to go to allstarcharts.com, head to the members section, head to the options section. And in that area, I publish detailed trading plans for every trade that we put on. The setup, the stock setup, why we like it, the option strategy that we're going to use, how we're going to participate in our thesis, right? Where we're going to manage risk, where we may stop out, where we may or may not take profits. All of those details are laid out on day one when we put the trade on. You can find those at allstarcharts.com. If you don't have access to that, shoot us an email and we'll get you hooked up. But I will briefly say we have a bearish trade on in NSP, Insperity. In fact, I got a couple bearish trades on here because I'm looking for a little bearish exposure. I have a lot of long exposure right now. And, we have a potentially binary event coming on where we could have a big move in either direction of the market. I don't know which direction. Right now, I'm positioned to benefit I think, if the market goes higher, but I don't have a whole lot of bearish exposure in case we go lower. So a couple of these trades today are bearish trades for that reason. First is NSP Insperity. You can see on this red candle here on the 18th, that's when we got short. Again, all the details on the blog. The second short trade, we actually just did this one this morning, M&T Bank. This is a trade that I don't do a whole lot. I don't do it very often. I certainly don't recommend you do it either. I don't like fading strength, but M&T, this is a stock that over the past, let's zoom out here, over the past year, this thing has climbed almost 84%. It has as much as 84% over the year. This, by every definition, is relative strength. Well, great. This stock is one of those stocks that is participating in the narrative that this would be a stock like this would benefit from Trump winning the election. Great. If that's the case, great. But what happens if Trump wins the election and there's a big sell the news event, right? Or what if Trump loses? Then the whole narrative changes, right? So stock like this, I feel like has the potential to roll over hard if there is a change in narrative. So I'm putting a bearish position on an MTB. My risk is defined. I'm taking advantage of one of the best features of options trading is to define our risk. So I very well could be wrong in this trade. In fact, the chart would suggest I have a high likelihood of being wrong. But if I'm right, this stock we can make 10x on our position, the position we put on 10x, maybe 20x, who knows, right? Unlimited upside potentially. So we're bearish in MTB. Finally, Broadcom, I want to call it Avago because of that weird symbol. I still don't understand why they have that AVGO as a ticker for Broadcom. But anyway, we put a delta neutral trade on here in Broadcom. Feel like this thing may go a little bit sideways. And by the way, we put the delta neutral trade on, but we chose an expiration in the options that is before their November earnings event. So we will not be holding our delta neutral trade through earnings. We'll be getting out before then, ideally, or well, for sure, because the options expire before then. But again, all the details for that can be found on the blog. So here I always like to show this slide for you guys. The updated stops, usually we have a long list of them, but today we just have the one, coupon CPNJ. And lastly, again, any questions at all, or if you want to get involved in All-Star Options, you could either shoot me an email, info@allstarcharts.com, or click this link to get All-Star Options. I also put that link in the chat there on the YouTube, so you can find it there. And also, if you like the charts that I share, I say this every week now, my friends at TrendSpider hooked us up. If you want to get involved with TrendSpider charts to keep your charts clean and your life easy, head to trendspider.com and use promo code Sean50. They'll give you 50% off subscription plans at TrendSpider. Pretty sweet. All right, everybody, that's all I got for you. Have a great rest of your week. I'm heading off to Seattle tomorrow afternoon, so I'll be out there all weekend. So I'm going to have a great weekend. I hope you do too. We'll see you. We'll see you on Stock Market TV next week. I'll be back. No problem. You won't miss me. Take care, everybody.